Well, hi there, everybody. Ed the Bearman LaBar here. In this series, we will be covering how to make a small Bible cover from start to finish, basically from pattern to patina. We will cover everything from how many panels you want on the cover, either 1, 2, or 3, or how we establish that pattern, how to make the pattern perfectly square, especially if it's, a 2 or 3 part pattern. You got to make sure everything's good and square, otherwise things just won't line up correctly. So whether it's my patterns or anybody's patterns that's divided up like that. We'll learn how to size the pattern, how to make the pattern from the Bible itself, or something you've made to fill in for the size of the Bible. Sometimes that's the best way, because a lot of times people have an old Bible that they want covered, and of course they're not going to want to ship you their old Bible. They don't like doing that. But if you have the correct sizes and everything, you can make it from there just fine. It works perfectly every time. One thing we need to do is choose the leather correctly, because sometimes the leather may look perfectly fine, but you'll find out in the back that there's some type of divots, or it could have bug bites in it, or it could have scratches or whatever. So how to choose your leather. I'm a big fan of Herman Oak leather. I've used Herman Oak leather for years and years and years, and it's a consistent quality. I can trust it to color correctly every time. So I'm a big fan of theirs. Not to say that there isn't any other good leather out there, but, that's the one that I like to use. One thing that we want to do is, in the process of making this thing, we want to make sure that we completely control the stretch, because, especially like on wallets, if you don't control the stretch, by the time you get done tooling it, your pre-made interiors are not going to fit that correctly. So that controlling the stretch not only helps with actually keeping the leather from stretching while you're tooling, it also helps create depth, definition, and detail also, which is a great added bonus, especially when you're working with fairly thin leather. So that's one thing that we will go over. We will go over the complete process of casing leather. What is casing leather? How to case leather. How to make sure that the leather stays cased throughout the whole project while you're tooling it. So we'll go over that. We'll learn how to transfer the pattern so that you're not missing anything, which that's pretty easy to fix. You just pull up a corner and look, make sure you got everything. From there, we will go on to the actual tooling processes. We'll go through the whole tooling process using my Realistic Leaves tooling process, which is not only for leaves. You can use it on pretty much any kind of pattern, whether it's Sheridan pattern, round pattern, circular pattern, northwest pattern, just about anything, and it works great on there. It works great on floral patterns as well. What do we tool first? Do we tool one area first and complete that area, or do we go over the whole thing? That's one thing that we'll cover also. So once we get done with the tooling process, we move on to the coloring process using my Nature Colors process, using EcoFlow water-based dyes. I found those to be actually the best ones for doing a realistically looking leaf or whatever you're working with pattern when you're all done. I've used that for many years now, and it works great. It's a simple process. I've got I think right now about 40 different formulas for the different colors, which of course I'll share with you. From there, after we get the coloring process all done, we want to fix the colors in the leather. That is one step that just about gets missed all the time. And fixing doesn't necessarily mean putting a finish on it, because sometimes some finishes you put on some dyes, it removes some of the dye. That's not a good thing. So you need to fix it, which helps make the dye more vibrant for much longer. And there's other processes we can do to keep that vibrant colors alive for a lot longer also. So, that's of course something we will do. We will go on to assembly after we do that. Not only just the, stitching everything together, but the reasons why we do things in a certain order. Especially preparing for a particular purpose like a Bible cover. After we get the leather, the tooled leather prepared, then we will move on to actually putting in the lining material. And there's a couple things you need to do before you just slap the lining material in there. So, of course, we'll go over that. We'll go over how to assemble the side pockets and a couple other pieces in there that I use on my Bible covers, which I encourage everybody else to use as well. Once we do that, we'll move on to the stitching. We will trim the outside edges exactly to where they should be. I highly encourage you to never trim the excess off until you're done stitching. Sometimes you just need that little bit of extra out there, a little bit of fudge factor. So once we go complete that, we will do the edging, we'll do the burnishing, we will start putting on our actual finishes at that point. And once we get all the finishes done, you will have a completed Bible cover. The Bible cover that we're working on is actually going to be a little bit smaller than this here, but it will be, a similar kind of look when you get all done. We will have nice colored backgrounds and foregrounds. So, that's what we're doing in this series. So just, I'm planning on doing 4, maybe 5 segments to this. I'm looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of about 6 hours of instruction on video, which should take you from start to finish. So just hang on and just enjoy the process, and hopefully you will learn everything you need to do to complete doing this from now on. So thank you and keep watching. Bye.